Developing tonight, we are pressing the State Department to answer a key question in the growing Hillary Clinton email scandal, and it's a very easy question to answer. Did Mrs. Clinton sign this document? It's called the OF 109 form. Every agency employee, including the Secretary of State, is required to sign it when they leave the State Department, certifying that they've handed over all official records to the agency. The agency has to put hands-on and do a hands-on review before they say the employee can go. Hillary Clinton? We don't know. Did she sign it or didn't she? Last night in a Kelly File exclusive, a former DOJ Assistant Attorney General told us that if Hillary did sign that form, she could very well be facing felony charges. Did she commit a crime?
If that's the case, there's no question. The form itself says, hey, before you sign this, understand that you are certifying something that we can prosecute you for. Making a false statement in this context, knowingly and willfully, which I can't imagine anything more knowing and willful than knowing you have 55,000 records sitting in your home. If you do that, it is a felony.
Chief White House correspondent Ed Henry is live tonight at the White House. Ed, or at the Bureau.
In Washington. Good to see you, Megan. Bottom line is we asked this question. We tried to get an answer today. No answer at all from the State Department. This comes as the former Secretary of State may be facing new demands for information about her email with age-telling talks that Republican Congressman Jason Chaffetz is now planning to open a formal investigation as early as Friday. That would mean 2 investigations going on over this email drama. Remember, Republican Trey Gowdy has already issued a subpoena for emails around his investigation of Benghazi. What Chaffetz would be looking at is the legal ramifications here about the handling of the emails, taking them on that personal account. That's significant because it ties right into that latest big question you asked last night about whether or not the former secretary signed that key document. We pressed Jen Psaki today. Listen to the answer.
I think this has been asked. It was more than 2 years ago. I don't have an update on that specific question at this point.
State Department employee who has served as spokesman to 4 U.S. ambassadors to the United Nations. Rick, good to see you. And so,
you too, Megan.
Is there any chance in your experience that she would not have been required to sign this form, this OF 109?
No chance whatsoever. I mean, if she's dealing with classified information on a daily basis, which every State Department person does, when she leaves the service, has to turn in all of her documents, has to sign forms to say that you have no classified, top secret, or secret information in your possession. This is fundamental to doing your job at the State Department at a low level.
But let me just interrupt you. Let me just interrupt you and clarify. We looked at the form, and we went through this last night with Shannon Coffin. It's not just classified material. That form requires you to certify that you have returned all federal records, all, even unclassified material that was in your possession as Secretary of State or a State Department employee.
Yeah, and if you write a book in the future, they go through and make sure that you're not using any of the information, even if you didn't take it. They are very particular about this. There is no way that Hillary Clinton could walk out of the State Department doors and not have been debriefed by security officials, an inspector general, by someone saying, where is all the classified information? Have you returned everything? There's a checklist. There's a form. We all go through the exit interview.
What do you make of Jen Psaki saying, she says this has been asked, right, by us last night. She makes it sound like this has been an issue that's been asked and answered. It hasn't been answered. So where's the document of her suggesting it's 2 years? I mean, how hard would it be to find out whether she had signed it?
It's instantaneous. They can find this. Jen is being ridiculous. I mean, let me give you one example. If you open, as a State Department employee, if you open a cable, it's instantaneously recorded. If you print any classified information, they know it immediately. This server, this printer opened or printed classified information. They know who signed this form. You don't get to walk out the door unless you have these forms.
I guarantee the legal knows. I guarantee that the folks who represent them legally have that form ready to go just in case they need it. Now, let me ask you this: what do you make of the security procedures that were in place at the State Department? Could they have been? I mean, could they have been so lax as she now would have us believe? She's running around with her BlackBerry with all this information. She says, no classified information, not to worry, I had my secret server.
I mean, that's a ridiculous statement. You cannot do your job at the State Department unless you're dealing in classified information, let alone be the Secretary of State. On a daily basis, you're getting intelligence. you certainly aren't making progress on any policy issues if you're not utilizing the classified information to strategize, to reach out to other embassies. One other point that's being missed here, Megan, if her email was private, that means embassy personnel around the world had no idea what the email address was. They don't know how to link to her. They don't know how to get her. So if there's a crisis at an embassy that's going on and you pull up the global address system, Hillary Clinton doesn't show up because she doesn't have a .gov, state.gov email address.
That would explain a lot.
It's a huge problem.
That would explain a lot.
Why she didn't get certain emails, why she didn't know about security procedures. If you don't have a state.gov email, no one in the field is able to get your email address unless you know them personally.
And now
you
today,
give it to them.
It came out that when she did her little search to find out what in her view was a federal record and what was a personal record, she just did keywords. She just typed in a couple of keywords, her lawyer did, and whatever came up under those keywords, that's what we got. And everything else was deleted.
Yeah, I know.
So there wasn't a document by document search to make sure the stuff that was getting deleted also might be relevant to, or might be a federal record. I mean, this is egregious and totally unsatisfactory. This is not okay under the document management system or the legal system.
Look, from my perspective, you cannot do your job as a State Department employee, let alone the Secretary of State, if you're not dealing with classified information. She, of course, had classified information on that email. There's no way she didn't. No way she didn't.
Rick, good to see you.
Thanks, Megan.
There are two forms that she had to sign. She had to sign one on day one, in which she took an oath to preserve in the government's possession government records. If she signed it, and 2 weeks later diverted the government records to her husband's server in Chappaqua, New York, she probably committed perjury. Second one, the one that you've identified that Megan revealed last night, you sign in your last day in office in which you say, I have returned to the government already. It's in the past tense, the government's records. If she signed that and did so under oath, as the document requires that you swear to it, she probably committed perjury. Because we don't know if she signed this, but we do know no one in the government would be authorized to exempt her from these documents.
Congressman Jason Chaffetz is now planning a formal investigation into the legal implications. You say there are legal implications.
I say there are profound legal implications because you have to swear under oath. The second document, the one you just identified, is the one that is the basis for the prosecution of General Petraeus, who signed the same document the day he left the CIA, and he says, forgot that he had loose leaves in a drawer in his desk in his home, and when the FBI raided his home, they found them there, and that's what he is going to plead guilty to, the possession of documents that belong to the government in his home.